Good morning to everybody and welcome to our new episode of Itanong Mo kay Sir Pat. A special discussion will be made regarding how we could pinpoint a study that needs hypothesis testing. Talking about hypothesis, we are referring to a tentative answer to a question. In our manuscript, we have questions posited in the statement of the problem. However, it does not necessarily mean that all our questions should bear tentative answers as we talk about hypotheses. There are only questions in the statement of the problem that would need hypothesis testing that at the latter part of the research endeavor should be tested whether these tentative answers ought to be accepted or rejected. We will expound on that as we advance in our discussions. In a nutshell, having an idea on various methods of research is an advantage in determining whether hypothesis testing is needed or not. Hypothesis testing is commonly found in quantitative methods of research, and there are three major categories of quantitative methods of research: descriptive, correlational, and experimental. If a study is correlational or experimental, the study would require hypothesis testing. Therefore, upon reading just the title of a study, an academician should already have an idea whether hypothesis testing is needed or not by simply having cues regarding the methods of research of a certain study. If a study is qualitative by nature, there is no hypothesis testing, not unless it is an action research. There are a lot of major categories of qualitative methods of research. We have phenomenological, ethnographic, grounded theory, narrative, case study, biographical, reflexive, and so on and so forth. None of these should require hypothesis testing, but an action research does. We will not dig down into the details of how an action research should be done, but hypothesis testing lies where results are compared before and after the action in that particular action research. You have it right. The magic word is compare. The key is to find comparisons in the questions. When there are comparisons, there are hypothesis testing. In this discussion, we are not going to discuss everything about hypothesis testing. Instead, we are only going to focus on the hypothesis testing, the types of tests of hypothesis, the errors in hypothesis testing, and the interpretations to the hypothesis. Let us cite a tangible example. By simply reading the title of this study, Appreciation of Grade 11 Students to K-12 Curriculum, it obviously is not correlational, nor experimental, nor action research. Thus, hypothesis testing is not possible. There is no chance that there should be comparisons within this study. But let us double check it by looking into the questions in the statement of the problem. In the statement of the problem of this given research title, it is read as number 1. What are the factors affecting the grade 11 students to appreciate K-12? Number 2, how do they appreciate K-12? Number 3, what are the dislikes of the students about K-12? And number 4, what are the strategies that could be mounted in maintaining and maximizing their appreciation that will help them to succeed? Basically, as we have heard already, the magic word when it comes to determining whether a hypothesis testing would be needed in a research paper or not, we should be able to identify comparisons among the questions posited in the statement of the problem. As we dig into the statement of the problem of this given uh, research concept or research title, number one, we are trying to look at the factors as we are asked what are the factors affecting the grade 11 students to appreciate K to 12. Definitely, there's no comparisons going on here. So for question number one, hypothesis testing should not be needed. For number two, we are asked to describe how do they appreciate K to 12. Definitely for question number two, there's no such comparison that is needed in here. For number three, what are the dislikes of the students about K to 12? Once we have already identified and explained these dislikes, we are sure and confident that there is no comparison going on here. So for question number three, then again, hypothesis testing is not needed. For number four, we are asked to propose strategies in maintaining and maximizing their appreciation. Once we have presented these strategies, definitely there would be no comparison. Inconsistent with our preliminary analysis in the title of this study, appreciation, we were not able to identify any comparison. Aligned to the statement of the problem, on 4 questions posited in the SOP, none of these require comparison. Therefore, we are sure that the entire course of this study, hypothesis testing, is not needed.